So tell me, guys, do y'all have pet peeves? You know, things that really get on your nerves? I'm no different than you are. Alright guys, welcome back to Rolling with T-Bone. As you can see, we're rolling down the road in the cage today. Had to overlook all this in the back here. It's all gear for work. I could have probably gotten on a bike today and shot content. It's like 49 degrees, maybe 50, 51 degrees. It's according to what area you're in, but to be honest with you, they're calling for 100% rain tomorrow. So I kind of want to wait and let the rain wash the salt and brine and stuff off the roads that they used to treat for the little snow event we had a few days ago. Because you get that stuff on your bike, it's hard to get it washed off. So, but here we are, rolling down the road, rolling with T-Bone. If you're new here, welcome in. I make motorcycle and motorcycle related content. Today, of course, is the exception. I'm having to do it in my truck because of bad weather that we've had. Kind of makes riding a bike right now not a very fun prospect. Like I said, I don't want to get that stuff all over. If you're old here, you know the deal. Today, you saw the thumbnail and you saw the header. Today, we're going to talk about pet peeves. One thing that really bothers me, and I kind of been wanting to share this with you guys for a while. This is actually a video that I've been wanting to make for a while, but I just haven't had the opportunity to make it, because when I'm on the bike, I try to do you know, upbeat, kind of better content, kind of you know, keeping the ride alive and making it enjoyable for you guys to watch. Which rolling with T-Bone can mean rolling on the bike, rolling in the car, rolling on different bikes. You know, that kind of doesn't, rolling with T-Bone isn't just bound down to one thing. But pet peeves, guys. Probably my biggest pet peeve that I have is people trying to diminish someone else's property or how they feel, or, you know, just a couple examples. The first example is, you know, I'm 44 years old, guys. I'll be 45 this year. And I was in a bad motorcycle wreck, and I've got arthritis and bones that didn't heal right, ribs that didn't heal right. I've had all my ribs broken or fractured. And one of my pet peeves is when you know, you kind of have a hard time moving around, and someone who is older, say 60, 70, 80, they'll say, well, what's wrong with you? You're a young man. And well, you tell them, well, I'm hurting. Oh, you think you're hurting now? Wait till you get 61 or 71 or 75 or 78. No, I hurt now. I don't need to get to 71, 75, or 78. I'm in pain now. I have a lot of pain. Guys, don't diminish how someone else feels to try to draw pity to yourself, or to try to draw, you know, oh, poor pitiful you. You're in more pain than any of us could ever be. I don't care if it's a 25, 26-year-old person. If they come to me at 45 and they say, hey, man, my back's hurting, I'm not going to say, well, wait till you turn 25. Wait till you turn 45. If you think you're in pain now, give it 20 more years. Now, I'm not going to diminish that 25-year-old person, and I'm not going to diminish their pain, because I don't know what happened to them in their life to cause them to be in pain. They could have been in a real bad accident when they were younger that messed up disc in their back, or messed up vertebrae in their back, or in a leg, in a shoulder, in an arm, in their neck. I'm never going to diminish what somebody else is going through just to draw the attention to myself. And that's really the thing, guys, is when you diminish someone else, all you're trying to do is draw attention to yourself. You're trying to make yourself more, you know, you're trying to be more sympathetic to yourself than you are to what they're going through. So there is never, and I really believe this, there's never any reason to diminish what's going on with someone else just to try to make yourself more important. You know, that 25-year-old person may have been in a car wreck that killed one of their family members. That may be why they're in pain. So you don't need to diminish what someone else is going through just to make yourself seem more important. And that's really what it comes down to when you're doing that, when you're trying to diminish what somebody else is going through. And that's one example. I mean, you know, if a young person comes up to you and you're older and they say, hey man, my knee hurts, don't say, well, wait till you reach my age and you're really going to be hurt. No, they don't need to hear that. Be sympathetic to what's going on with them. You don't have to try to diminish what they're feeling to make yourself feel any better. And the next example of that, guys, is, and this one really does get on my nerves and it really bothers me bad, is when someone diminishes someone for what they have. Meaning, if you ride a big bagger Harley Davidson and you've got all the $50,000 and the equipment, and you know, that's fine for you. But not everybody wants to ride a big Harley bagger. And you know, diminishing guys who ride Sportsters or who ride Hondas, Kawasaki's, Suzuki's, that just really kind of keeps the stereotypical thing alive that, well, all Harley owners are just buttholes and they really don't care about anybody else. Listen, guys, I know guys right now who ride Harley Davidson Sportsters. There's nothing wrong with a Harley Davidson Sportster. I personally love the Harley Davidson Sportster. Want another one in my stable someday. But here's the thing, guys. I know guys who actually ride Harley Davidson Sportsters who can afford those big bikes like you ride, but they choose not to ride them. They choose to ride the Sportster. And why wouldn't they? The Sportster is a great bike. Fun bike. And, you know, I've heard it said, well, if you don't ride a big Harley Davidson, if you don't ride a Harley Davidson Big Twin, then you're not really a biker. Really? So I'm 45 this year, and I've literally been riding motorcycles ever since I'm 8 years old. So you mean to tell me all of the years that I rode a Harley Davidson Sportster, I had an 883 Hugger, all the Honda 750s I've owned, and I've got a 750 Shadow Spirit right now, all the Kawasaki's, the Suzuki's, the Yamahas. You mean to tell me because all those bikes that I rode wasn't Harley Davidsons that I'm not really a biker? All of those miles I put down on those bikes don't count? Give me a break. You know, that kind of is an egotistical thing. I really think, and I own two Harley Davidsons. I've got the Fat Boy Big Twin, I've got a Super Glide Big Twin, and I've got my little 750 Honda. Guys, I traded my big Tour Glide for the Super Glide. Why? Because I didn't want a big old bulky bike anymore. I was starting to doubt myself riding the thing. I could have more fun on a smaller bike. Milkman and all the guys who have been riding with me for years will tell you how many times I've said that in the past. I actually have more fun riding a smaller bike because they're easier to maintain, they're easier to handle, they're more fun on the back road. But yeah, I had a guy, this happened probably 10 years ago, maybe a little less. If you'll go through my pictures on Facebook, you'll see the CB900 I had. It was a Honda CB900 custom. It was a 10-speed, had the 5 low gears and the 5 high gears. I love that bike. Milkman and me did a lot to restore that bike after I got a hold of it. I traded an XS 1100 Yamaha for it. Love that 900. That 900 was a great bike. I had a lot of fun with that bike. I'm wrestling with my microphone, guys, sorry. Trying to just get it to stay up there. I don't know where my clip is, but I had a blast with that CB900. That bike was more fun to ride. You know, it was a 900. It wasn't super light, but it wasn't real super heavy. And man, you could get on a back road with that 10 speed and you could have the time of your life. And I ended up trading that bike for a truck because my vehicle went down and I ended up needing a vehicle to get back and forth to work in. So I ended up trading for the truck. And but anyway, I met a guy over at our local gas station in McKaysville. I filled up there. I pulled up riding that CB900 and pulled up to the pump, was going to put some gas in it. And of course, there's a guy on a big Heritage Classic. I mean, wasn't a Heritage Classic, I'm sorry. It was an Ultra Classic, all bagged out, dressed out. He was older than I was. This man had the balls in his pants to look at me and call me a poser because I didn't ride a Harley Davidson. And I told the guy, I said, well, to be honest with you, I'd rather have the Honda because I want to get home when I leave my house. And of course, at that time, I didn't own anything but the CB900. I had no issues with that bike. I'd jump on that bike, take off, and go anywhere. But it was just that kind of thinking that has given all bikers that ride Harley Davidsons a bad name, because you see it in dealerships, you know, mechanics who will only work on Harley Davidsons. If it ain't a Harley Davidson, they don't want to work on it. Or if you don't ride a Harley Davidson, you can't ride with their group. And if you don't ride a Harley Davidson, then you can't come to our showroom and look at our other motorcycles and buy gear from us. We've really got to cut that nonsense out, guys. Quit diminishing people for what they ride. Because I promise you, that guy who's riding that 1500 Kawasaki Vulcan, the Vaquero, the 1700 Vaquero, if he could afford to buy that 1700 Vaquero, he could afford to buy a Road Glide. He chose not to. He chose to ride a bike that he wanted to have. And listen to me, guys. If we all rode the same kind of motorcycle, this would be a boring, dull, very uninteresting world. But the pet peeves, man, I wanted to touch base with you guys on that. Because diminishing other people for what they have or don't have, that actually really does bother me. That really does get under my skin. Not everybody wants to ride a Harley Davidson. You know, not everybody wants to drive a Chevrolet truck. Not everybody wants to drive a Ford truck. Some people want to buy a Toyota truck or a Nissan truck. Well, it's not American. Well, it's as American as anything else, guys. Go pop the hood on that Ford truck sitting out in the yard. Look on the firewall and see if there's not a plate on there that says assembled in Japan. I guarantee you might shock yourself. Because I'm driving a Chevrolet Avalanche, and I can promise you right now, any major part that has to be ordered for this truck will have to be exported from Japan. That's just the way it is. But if you ride a Harley, fantastic. You ride a Harley, great. You're happy with it, you love it. But just because the guy beside you may not be riding a Harley, maybe they're riding a VTX 1300. It's what they wanted to ride. And really, you don't have no right to be giving them any kind of flack for what they chose to ride, because really it's none of your business. Always think of it as this. At least you don't have to ride their bike. If you don't like it, then that means you don't have to ride it. So I don't really see what the problem is with the different motorcycles. And the Sportster riders, listen, I know I've got a lot of you Sportster riders who watch my channel. You guys are riding certified Harley Davidson motorcycles, okay? Just because it says Sportster does not mean it isn't a Harley Davidson. As a matter of fact, the Sportster line is the only line that has went unstopped since 1957. No other motorcycle line has done that. The company's either went bankrupt or they've stopped the line of motorcycles. Now the Sportster may be coming to its end with the Sportster, this new Sportster S, but I don't think that's going to happen either. I think they will still make the 1200s and the 883s. Or I haven't heard anything that would contradict that. But if you're watching this video and I just stepped on your toes with the whole diminishing other things, maybe you need to stop and take a look at yourself. Because I ride 2 big twin Harleys and I've got a 750 Honda. I would never pull up in a group of people who are riding Kawasaki's or Hondas on my Harley and start diminishing them for what they ride. Because I love all motorcycles. If it's got 2 wheels and an engine and it'll catch wind, T-Bone's a happy camper. It don't have to be a Harley. But I just wanted to share that with you guys. Wanted to put this content together. Like I said, I could have got out on the bike today, but there's so much brine and salt on the road, I really didn't want to get it all over my bikes, because that crap is hard to get off once you get it on your motorcycles. Comes off your vehicles in the car wash a little easier than it does me out there trying to scrub every nook and cranny on a motorcycle. But tomorrow's a washout, guys, so I hope you're out enjoying the day. I hope you're getting a chance to take advantage of this sunshine that we've had today. And remember, guys, it does not cost anything to be a good human being. Be a good person. You don't have to be a butthole. You don't have to diminish anybody. You don't have to put anybody down. Just be a good human being. You know, and just remember this. Not everybody likes the same thing. And just because they may not ride the same kind of motorcycle you ride, or drive the same kind of vehicle you drive, or have pain when they're young, it don't cost nothing to be a good human being. You don't have to diminish anybody. You don't have to try to put anybody down, and you don't have to try to push them under your thumb. But guys, I'll tell you what, that's pretty well much going to wrap this episode of Rolling with T-Bone up. Let me know what you guys think. What kind of pet peeves do you guys have? Do you still think, do you have the same kind of pet peeves that I have? Or what is your pet peeve? But I tell you what, guys, we're going to stop this video right here. Remember to like, share, comment. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And guys, until the next time, this has been Rolling with T-Bone. You guys stay safe out there.